Greetings. It's been a while since I gave a Dhamma talk for lay people. I only give Dhamma talks to live broadcast cameras nowadays. We are gathered here at Well's funeral. Her death is not to be pitied. Leading up to her death, she had been prepping for a long time. By sharing things, keeping precepts, and practicing Dhamma, she did this routinely, so that there would be no worries about what happens after her death. Most cancer patients experience a great deal of suffering at the time of their deaths. In this case, her merit merely resulted in her being inactive and without perception of pain. Well, this is beyond our capability to assess whether it is a result of merit or not. However, people dying from cancer are normally in great pain. In her case, the cancer spread to the brain, causing her to become drowsy and then fell asleep. We should look at her as a role model for how to prepare ourselves to be ready. Death does not occur relative to age. Young people can die before older people. As in Wells' case, her parents are still alive. I have met Wells' parents. They are good, and they can overcome their grief. Their child was even better. She was not too mournful. This exemplifies a person who has Dhamma. Dhamma can be transmitted to everyone in the family. Family members are able to accept the truth better than most people. Most people cannot accept the truth. Actually, death happens to all who take birth. We have death ahead of us. As the years pass, our life counts down. As months and days go by, our lifespan is shortened. A breath taken indicates that a moment in our life has been used up. Take a breath in, then out. Life has shortened over this period. Therefore, the thing that we need to and ought to learn is do not be heedless. Start improving your heart or mind as soon as possible. Do not waste this opportunity as a human being who gets to meet Buddhism. Try to practice like Well did. She was not rich. Every morning, when she would still be able to walk, she would make sugary drinks. She would sell a portion and then set some aside as offering for the monks at the temple every day. This generosity and sharing were done consistently. Therefore, her wholesomeness was of high caliber. This is called habitual karma, akina karma, habitually performing good deeds. is a type of habitual karma. If you perform misdeeds habitually, the results of those misdeeds will be second only to the immediacy deeds. If you do good deeds habitually, the results of those good deeds will be second only to the immediacy deeds from the aspect of goodness, the ability to enter jhana, and transcendental attainments. If you haven't achieved either yet, then doing good deeds habitually would yield great merit. Well, did good deeds every day. Some people want to make merit, but do not have much money. They tend to be stingy to give anything away. But not well. She was determined and wasn't hoping to get rich. She never asked me for anything for as long as we knew each other. Never heard a word from her regarding receiving blessings to be rich.
People who came to ask for her blessings to be rich are those who are already rich but never content.
On the other hand, well, she never asked for such a thing. She did it without expecting anything in return. She only wanted to cultivate the mind and attain Dhamma. She kept giving and sharing, keeping moral precepts, and practicing Dhamma as much as she was capable of. Practicing Dhamma cannot guarantee that within 2 to 3 days, or 7 days, 7 months, or 7 years, everyone attains liberation. This would depend on how much spiritual perfection you have developed previously. If it is a lot, then you can pick up right from where you left off. The attainment of the liberation will be quick and easy. But if your capital is less, far less for some especially, if you are born with a mind arising from 2 factors, non-greed and non-aversion, however, with a high level of delusion, it will be difficult for these people to practice Dhamma. It's going to be a rough path. I'm trying to encourage every one of us to try to be self-aware and to not be lost or scattered. If we can achieve this, then the chances of improvement are high. Some people cannot do this, which is actually normal. So never mind meeting me in person. Even amongst those people who met Lord Buddha in person, not everyone was successful in practicing Dhamma. Some of those people even had deficit, such as Tevata or misbehaved monks had spiritual deficits. Therefore, meeting me in person is no guarantee that you'll be able to attain the fruit in this lifetime. It depends on how much capital we have previously invested. If it is little, try to keep it practicing and be mindful, so the mind won't be lost. Practice not being lost. And when you die, end of this life, you will be reborn with stronger mindfulness. The strong mindfulness will allow you to practice Dhamma more easily. For well, later in her life, she could practice having the stable mind. Her mind was well cultivated with stable samadhi, which means that she wasn't bored with 2 factors. Her mind had started to gain samadhi. However, the death Mara and the aggregate Mara stepped in and took her life away. Overall, she had been sharing things, keeping morality and practicing Dhamma habitually. She cultivated goodness regularly. Her being angry at times is normal. Because her mind had not yet attained non-returner, even though she felt irritated sometimes, she did not hesitate from observing herself. This is a good example, and we can all learn from her. Goodness should be cultivated, no matter how little, till such time you habituate yourself. Even small misdeeds should be avoided, otherwise you'll get used to it. If it is easy for us to conduct misdeeds, such as something as basic as speaking maliciously or telling a lie, these actions break the fourth precept. This precept is normally taken for granted because it seems like less of a transgression as if acceptable. But once we are capable of small misdeeds, they escalate into bigger misdeeds. Therefore, even small misdeeds should be abstained from and avoided. Example, do not hit or scold other people. Instead, observe your own heart or mind, so that you don't get carried away with the defilements. One day, everyone will experience this final point in life. It is just a matter of whether you experience it with courage or cowardice. If you practice Dhamma well, your heart or mind will become courageous. We must have giving and sharing, keeping morality, listening to Dhamma regularly, developing samadhi, and cultivating wisdom. Thus our hearts will be courageous. Even when death is imminent, the heart remains courageous as it sees the body get sick. The mind is an observer. The body is in pain. The mind is an observer, even when the body is about to die. At the moment of death, while the body has difficulty breathing, we see the body breathing. If the heart or mind becomes worrisome, know that it has. Do not try to fix it. Just know it. Then the mind will no longer be worried. After that, we continue seeing the body breathe till the breath ceases. Try to practice every day. How? When we go to bed, we can practice the breathing technique. Breathe out, then breathe in. Or breathe out, chant Buddha or whatsoever. Breathe in, then breathe out. Keep chanting Buddha repeatedly. Then notice when the mind is about to fall asleep. This is what it is like to prepare yourself. When the time that death arrives, we may be lying down, breathing, and noticing when it will perish. If wisdom is sufficiently cultivated, you will see that there isn't a dead person. There are only elements and aggregates that break apart and fall away. When elements and aggregates arise, they are going to fade away. The heart won't waver. When we go to sleep, we can prepare ourselves by practicing breathe in, chant Bud, and breathe out, chant Do while lying down. The mind becomes calm, the heart becomes content and relaxed. Do not practice with stress. If you were to go on practicing Dhamma with stress, breathing in and chanting Bud, breathing out, chanting Do in a stressful manner, then you won't fall asleep because the heart or mind is not relaxed. Practicing the breathing technique will relax mind so that the heart or mind becomes happy, and then you will fall asleep. If you dream, it will be a good dream, not a bad one. Keep practicing this often, so that even dreams are good, not bad. As we die, in that moment, nimittas appear. These images are projections of our deeds. Let's take Well as a prime example. She did good deeds. What might she have visualized? Maybe an image of her making merit in the mornings at the temple. That's one possibility. Or the visual may have been of the enablers or components used in order to make merits, her homemade pana drinks that she would prepare for the monks. These type of visualizations can bring us to happy realms. Visualizing the components for preparing the pana drinks and the sweet drinks for monks Upon seeing these things, the heart will freshen up, having made merits. Dreams manifest. There are 3 types of these visuals or images, including foreseeing where one will be reborn and in their next life. It will be seen beforehand. However, it is beyond our abilities to choose a desired image. It is like a dream. We don't get to design our dreams. Now, practicing breathing in Chanput, breathing out Do, until you become accustomed with it. In your sleep, you won't have nightmares. We will do the same at the time of our death. We keep breathing input, breathing out Do repeatedly. There will be no negative visuals. If there are any visuals, there will be good ones, except for seeing angels and seeing yourself making merits. This isn't nonsense. If we practice sufficiently, we will be able to witness death itself as well as dead things. If we practice enough, some of us will get to see these things, though not everyone. They will see ghosts, celestial beings, hell beings, hungry ghosts, and so on. If and when we are able to see these, then we will realize that they do exist. Lord Buddha did not fool us. Some people think that the reason Lord Buddha taught about heaven and hell realms was to make us afraid. They think that it was meant to frighten us. Lord Buddha never frightened anyone. Every word Lord Buddha uttered was the truth. Now, it depends if people are going to believe it or not. It's not possible to force them to believe it. Even having learned the truth, they do not believe it, that it can't be helped. One day, they will see, at the time of their death. They'll see if it is true or not. While alive, they are conceited and disbelieve Lord Buddha's teachings. If we practice Dhamma and gain the ability to see ghosts and so on, we'll realize that death does not represent the end. Rather, even though this body falls apart and the vital consciousness passes away, a new consciousness instantly arises in a new realm. Either in the hungry ghosts, demons, hell beings, animals, human, angels, or Brahma deities realms, just depends. Keep knowing and observing. Keep practicing Dhamma.
If you have not yet gained the ability to see these things, that is okay.
There's no need to strive to achieve these abilities. Some people just can't. When you're able to see, you don't want to see. When you want to see, you're not able to see. Therefore, keep practicing diligently. If and when the time comes, you'll be able to do that. Some schools of practice teach people to see hell realms and heavenly realms. There are some advantages. It makes them afraid of committing bad deeds and reaping those results. It encourages people to do good deeds. For most people, that is great progress. However, we don't just aim for that level. We have a higher calling. You've come this far. You've met Buddhism. Aiming to live in heavenly realms is of low value. Without Lord Buddha, people can go to heaven or subtle realms. However, not Nibbana. Therefore, having met Buddhism or Lord Buddha, we might as well improve ourselves. By sharing things, keeping moral, and training in samadhi, it's actually about training our heart or mind. Breathe in, put, breathe out, do. Or if you don't like that, you can employ other approaches, Namapata, Sama Arahang, and so on. Any object of meditation will work. Just do it. But know your heart or mind. Before going to bed, do as I instructed. While lying down, keep observing the breath. That is considered Dhamma practice, samadhi training. Therefore, if we are generous, maintain morality, and practice Dhamma, we will have properly accomplished the requirements of lay people. For lay people, it is by generosity, being moral, and practicing Dhamma. The responsibilities of monks are morality, samadhi, and wisdom cultivation. It is another level. did well. Sharing things, being moral, and practicing Dhamma, she did what she could. Her death is unlikely to be in vain. She did what she could. We need to do what we can do. To wait for other people to do it for us is careless. Some people think in this way and wait for their children to do what's proper for them. But what if their children don't believe in these things? What if they believe that once you die, that's the end? That will be the worst case. You haven't done it, and your children haven't done it for you. Therefore, we have to perform good deeds by ourselves. It's best to rely on yourselves. The Dhamma of Lord Buddha yields benefits in the present. For example, by practicing Dhamma, we can now gain access to happiness. It also has benefits for our future. For example, when we die, we'll be able to move on to better realms. It yields the ultimate benefit, which is it allows us to gain access to Nibbana. Therefore, the Dhamma of Lord Buddha provides benefits at all levels. The fundamental level is that where we can live happily in the present moment, then we can happily move forward and ultimately gain access to happiness from fruit attainment. Try to train yourself every day. And any misconduct should be abandoned. And good deeds, keep at it. Any good deeds that you've never done before, start now. Some of you only keep morality and share things, but never practice Dhamma. You should do so. To practice Dhamma is simple. Train your mind to be with yourself. Breathe in Bud, then breathe out Dho. Whether it becomes calm or not does not matter. Keep breathing till the point where it will be calm on its own. Once the mind becomes calm, it will give rise to wisdom to see what's good and bad. If the mind is restless, it won't be able to tell apart what's right or wrong. What time is it now? That should be enough. This in itself would take years to practice.